It's a really chilly and cold day outside. My brother's been nagging me, and I've had friends nag me at work about getting a great chili recipe. So today we're going to make you a great chili recipe. Let's get started. Alright, to get our chili started, we're going to turn our heat onto a nice medium there. We're going to turn between a 5 and a 6. We'll start off by adding 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil into our pan. We have 1 medium-sized onion that we've diced, and we've also got 1 red pepper that we've diced. We're going to add those into our pan because we want to saute this all off. We want to kind of give it that, we just make it kind of soft. Now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. We're using the kind that's in the jar, so we make sure to get that liquid off. But if you want to use fresh, you can use 6 medium garlic cloves. Add that and mix that in. And to this, we're also going to put our spices. We want our spices to cook in with our vegetables. Cooking all the spices together you hear a lot on the Food Network where it blooms. But basically what you want to do, it helps create extra flavor. Alright, now to this, we're adding 1/4 cup of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, 2 teaspoons of ground coriander, 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, and 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. But you have just a little bit of heat in it, but you're not having a lot. And it is a lot of chili powder, but trust us, it's well worth it. Alright, we're going to take a moment and we're going to cook this down until our onions and our red peppers have become softened. Alright, we stirred this quite a while while during that time period. We don't want anything to stick to the bottom of the pan. Now to this, we're going to add 2 pounds of ground beef. And I will warn you now, because of the cayenne pepper and because of the red pepper flakes, you might cough just a little bit while this is cooking. But we're going to take this and we're just going to chop this up and we're going to brown off our ground beef. Just go ahead and try to get everything nice and mixed in. My brother's coughing up in the background. I tell you, cooking red pepper flakes and cayenne pepper can really get you, or anything spicy, including jalapeños. We're just going to go ahead and get this mixed in real quick. And we're going to go ahead and let this cook. And while this is cooking, we're going to get our crockpot ready because we're going to make this into a crockpot recipe. Let it cook in the crockpot for 4 hours or so. And we're going to go ahead and put our food liner in it so we don't have a big mess to clean up later on. Alright, while that ground beef was cooking, we constantly stirred it and we chopped it up so you don't want any huge pieces of ground beef in our chili. And also, we also want to make sure that all of our ground beef is nice and cooked. No one wants to get sick. It's not a pleasant experience, trust me. Alright, we're going to turn that heat off. We're now going to stick our ground beef in a crock pot. It's going to take 2 hands because this is pretty heavy. It's a heavy pan, and makes me feel kind of bad. Makes it look like I'm struggling with 2 pounds of meat. But in all reality, it's just a lot of, that pan's heavy. Alright, to that, we're going to add 28 ounces of petite diced tomatoes, a 28 ounce can of tomato sauce, 2 of our 15 ounce cans of kidney beans, and they're red kidney beans. 1 teaspoon of table salt, or teaspoon, I don't know if I said tablespoon, but it's 1 teaspoon. Spread that across there. Just going to give this a nice mix. We're going to set our crock pot on high. And while we're mixing that up, I'm going to go ahead and add 1/2 cup of water. Alright. It's going to be a nice thick chili recipe. And of course, later on you can add a little extra water if you want. But the steam coming off of the pot of the lid will make it nice and thin. As you can tell, everything is nice and mixed. We're going to stick this on high. We're going to let it cook on high for approximately 2 hours. And then we're going to then put it down low for another couple hours to let it simmer. Alright, it's been about 3.5 hours. We left it on high because we were hungry. We wanted to we didn't want it to sit there for a long time. I'm going to take that lid off. It's always a trick for some of us to get it off. That's really hot. Alright. Take a spoon. Mix it up. And like I said earlier, you do have a lot of liquid in here. You didn't have a lot earlier. Of course, the tomatoes cooked down a little bit. You had the tomato sauce, and then you had the condensation of the water from the crock pot as it cooked. All that steam came back down to help make it a nice consistency. I'm going to take my bowl here. Put some chili in here, and we're going to top it with a little bit of sour cream and some Fritos. We love Fritos on top of our chili. Of course, I also like jalapeños and some cheddar cheese and all kinds of other different flavorings. Of course, you put whatever you want on top of that. So chili, we're just going to put just a few Fritos and maybe a dollop of sour cream. Anyway, this is an extremely good, basic homemade chili recipe, and we hope that you enjoy.